kind of a man would abandon his spouse and his children and take off and for another woman after all those years invested in building the relationship from scratch? I mean, that seems really terrible, and yet it's considered norm in our society. I heard a statistic that says 50% of all marriages end in divorce. I wonder why that is. I wonder if that was a standard practice in ancient times. I doubt it. Although the Greeks were considered pretty immoral. But I'm not sure if that's just with the nobility or if that's with the common people or both. Because their gods often made allowances for very unscrupulous activities. Debauchery, they call it. Sexual orgies with multiple partners, and for their gods Ashtoreth and Astarte and all these other female deities, goddesses and gods, so-called, as Paul says. They would do all kinds of things to appease their gods or to invoke a blessing. They would take part in these fertility rites. And oftentimes what happens after their little sexual deviant excursion, they get pregnant and they produce offspring. But once the baby is delivered, they give it up to the gods as a sacrifice. Ancient Israel was guilty of this, according to the Old Testament prophets in the Hebrew Bible. They would put their babies on these bronze altars called Molech, and they would burn their babies alive. And to drown out their screaming, they would play these heavy drums and instruments, so they wouldn't have to hear the suffering of their children as they were being offered to God out of inconvenience to their life, because it was an unwanted pregnancy. So I wonder if anything else can be compared. I wonder if that has any application for today in our modern society, with all of our sophisticated moving beyond religion and moving beyond the absurd philosophers and being an enlightened culture since the Renaissance age. Have we really advanced as a peoples? We seem to be going around the same bend, going around the same circle of corruption. But according to the ancient priest of the Hebrews, it was abominable. It was an abomination to abort your children. And they didn't have hot serum, like a syringe that goes into the stomach of a womb of a woman to burn it with saline or whatever they use as a potion to destroy the fetus before it's born. But they're able to see it through ultrasound, sophisticated technology. But the ancients didn't have that stuff, so they just waited till it was born and then burned it on the bronze altar, the arms of Molech. Terrible.